Thank you, Joachim. A very nice introduction, actually. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Liang Hao, and it's such a pleasure for me to be on this stage on behalf of iSOFT to share our understanding of what's happening in this industry nowadays and our solutions, and more importantly, our value and philosophy behind all of these solutions and our response. So today's topic is the neutral, open, and full stack OS platform for the new era of the intelligent vehicle and beyond. So in my keynote speak today, I'm not going to talk only about a single product or a single kernel or a single demo, but instead, I will start with the structural challenges that the industry faces as it moves towards L3+. And more importantly, I would like to share our value and philosophy that guide iSOFT's response and to that neutral and open and full stack OS platform. And we believe the goal is not only to make L3 autonomous driving or automated driving, however you like to call it, feasible and mass producible at scales, but also to enable that safety and also more fundamentally the ecosystem that enable such sustainability of those L3 era and this whole industry. So over the past, say, 5 years, we have all been mesmerized and been fascinated by all these L2 functionalities. We have all been witnessing this whole dramatic changes in our industry, and all those L2 functionalities like urban NOA, right, highway NOAs, it all excites the board member and consumers. But there's a number, I believe, keeps some of the CEOs awake at night, which is 90%. According to Roland Berger, some OEMs developed as many as 90% of their software programs in-house, which means repeating foundations that do not differentiate the vehicle. And also from the L2 to L3+, at iSOFT, from my perspective, we don't believe the transition from L2 to L3 and even beyond is like a steeper slope. It's actually a cliff. When we say cliff, we mean like a paradigm shift. Because in L2 era, what we actually do is actually function realization of functionality implementations. The driver itself, the human, is the final safety net, right? All these safety requirements, all these safety regulation, they all pointed to the driver. The driver takes the full responsibility of such automation. But in L3 and what's beyond, the human, the driver should not be the safety net. The whole system should take its own responsibility and survive its failures. So what we call in the terminology is called a fail operational, right? And also to ensure these mass production. So there's challenges. The second, we have all been witnessed the evolution of AI. The AI model just evolved so fast, about 6 months, less than 12 months, one generation, another generation. But the certification of these, say the ACOD or these functional safety regulatories, they just don't evolve as fast as the AI. So if you have a monolith a whole stack of the software, you probably will never catch up with the AI. So in L3, on one hand, we have this AI rapid change. On the other hand, we have to ensure the safety. The system has to ensure the safety. So my first argument is that OS has become a strategy bet for all the OEMs and tier ones. What you choose for your OS in your autonomous driving systems means a lot. But then this is an impossible triangle that we come up. So we call this industrial trilemma, which means probably in order for the OEM and tier one, from their perspective, regarding this whole software stack, enabling this autonomous driving and high level of automations, we all want low capital intensity, meaning that the money we pour in, the time, the cost we pour into this software is as low as possible. And also we want the supply chain sovereignty. We don't want to be locked into any single vendors. And also we all want the high production readiness, meaning that the software we acquired can put into production right away. But however, I think the reality is that we can only have two at the moment. So let's start with the traditional tier 2 supply mode, right? You buy your, for example, hypervisor from vendor A, your middleware, your OS from vendor B, and your middleware from vendor C, D, and E. And then the integration hell is all yours. From the OEM tier 1's perspective, you have to do all the integration, you have to do all the debugging, you have to do all the configurations. And at the end of the day, when something goes wrong, probably those vendors would not share your urgency. And then second, we have been seeing a lot of the solutions that is like closed full stack. Again, let me just take a little pause and say one declaration. Today, what I'm going to say is purely from a technical point of view. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not trashing anyone. I'm just saying these are the problems we're facing, right? So for those closed full stack, you definitely have those turnkey solutions that provided from one vendor, and the capital intensity is relatively low, and you have a very high production readiness. But then the supply chain sovereignty is somehow compromised. You have been forced to lock in with one vendor, and every choice is like a bet. And the third one is, as I mentioned before, the in-house development. Some OEMs and some tier 1s decided to, okay, I will do all the things myself. And but then you will have your full supply chain sovereignty. You control everything from the very bottom to the very top. And you have your high production readiness, meaning that the design, the development, the verification, the implementation, the validation are all yours. So the production-wise, it will be ready when this actually the software stack is ready. However, the capital intensity on that path, the in-house development is just too high. Let me use the word brutal. You would spend thousands of engineers, you put thousands of engineers into the software development, but then again, your real battlefield is actually at the vehicle. You're paying premium price to become like a software company, but then your competitors may be using that resource to make the vehicle even better. So this is what we're facing at the moment. Whether we should change this, I mean, every path has its rationale behind it. Whether we should change or whether we should see this as a problem depends on whether we see this whole industry, how we see this industry. From nowadays, from now to the future, are we seeing this as a sprint? The first one to the final line wins, or should we see it as a rally marathon? I believe this is a long way to go. It should be a rally marathon. What we're having at the moment is temporary. What we want in the final, in the end, is a vast picture. It's a beautiful picture, but that requires a lot of work together. So all this industry, I mean, as a software, the tier 2 vendors, we also want industry level standards. We want shared tool chains. We want open ecosystem that can facilitate our business and also facilitate the whole industry. And I believe for some European OEMs and, for example, for some OEM in Europeans, they would like to have some diversified supply chains. And for the global tier 1s, they would like to have some cross-platform standard interfaces. And for our Chinese OEMs, we would like to have our OS passport that is compiled with the complied with the international standards. So what we really want, I believe, is a horizontal and neutral foundation. So as at iSOFT, when we see those industrial trilemma, or this impossible triangle, we don't actually see this trilemma as a law that without exception. We believe with this enabling hexagon, right, this is a term that we put up, enabling hexagon, we can actually solve that problem. We can make the industry have those three corners that we all want. And then we'll come back to that later. So based on those enabling hexagon, the next chapter of my keynote speech is the solution platform and products. Before I jump in, I would like to talk a little bit about the decoupling. Right, AUTOSAR itself stands for decoupling. Right? When I was a student, I heard about AUTOSAR, and in my mind at the time, AUTOSAR stands for decoupling. Right? It's a good way to decouple the whole software stack, make it layer by layer, and each layer is decoupled from the others. But again, the question is what to decouple, and to what extent should we decouple in the current stage, in current era? I believe threefold. The first one is obvious, is the algorithm from the OS, and that's what AUTOSAR has been doing all the time, all along. And the second is also very typical, is the OS from the chip, right? But the third one, I believe, is what we really need at the moment, is the safety from AI. Well, for the vehicle, it definitely requires safety, right? But for the AI, that capability, we all want that capability, but we have to find a way to isolate regarding in the time space regarding to so that the safety critical base and the AI driven layer can evolve independently. So that is the logic behind, and the hexagon of enablement is also our philosophy. Together, we have those full stack architecture and platform in the enabling hexagon. So on the right-hand side, you have this illustration of our full stack platform, and everything that's in the red will be provided on the neutral base and also in the open way. So when we say the hexagon, means there are 6 corners. The first one is neutral. iSOFT is a neutral third party. We don't build cars, we don't build chips, we don't build algorithms, we only provide the foundational software. And the second is open source, that our foundational product, meaning the hypervisor and RTOS, etc., is and will be open sourced. And the third is the open standard. iSOFT interface are open, and we're actually working with AUTOSAR to evolve the standard from paper-based specification to a code-based, like standardized implementations. And then on the left-hand side, we have safe, professional, and worry-free. This is the key because, as I mentioned before, the traditional model of the supplyment, the tier 2 supply, doesn't not necessarily solve those 3 concerns. For example, for the safety, all of our products from the beginning, they are all aiming at the ACOD, and they will get the ACOD because of the things I was gonna say later. And then professional. So everything that we provide comes with professional service, not only from us, but from the a whole network of service provider that we have gathered through our Starlight program. I will also introduce that later. And the last one, but not least, is the worry-free. What we want to deliver, it can be a full stack, but also because of the decoupling, what we can provide is not coupled together. So you can buy each layer. You can also acquire it from independent from the other. So again, no vendor lock-in, even from us. Right, so let me go through the whole stack, each layer by layer, okay? The first thing is the EasyAda. EasyAda is our brand name for the foundational software. It actually includes 2 products. The first one is a kernel, the second one is a hypervisor. So let me start with the kernel. Now it's another impossible triangle, or the kernel trilemma that I name it. So basically, the existing kernel that we can choose from at the moment probably are not suitable for the autonomous driving going into the L3+ era. So we have safety, ecosystem, and performance at 3 corners. And the microkernel systems has been, let's say, dominated the safety for our automotive industry for almost 20 years, I believe. It has the richest certification pedigree, and the safety itself is pretty good, and also have a very, very wide, very good user base. So it takes the safety and ecosystem. But moving into the AI stage, AI area, the IPC probably will have a cost of very low performance ceiling regarding the AI enablement. And then we have Linux. Well, I'm a fan of Linux, definitely. Linux has a very, very good performance regarding the AI facilitating, and also have a very, very good ecosystem, not only from the development, but also from the deployment and implementation point of view. But again, I'm not going to say Linux is not safe. I'm just saying that Linux, because of its big, huge code base and the way it's naturally open source, it's quite difficult for the current techniques to get it to ACOD. ACOB maybe, but ACOD is very hard. So we have another choice. We can choose from those kernels that has been widely used in the aerospace or defense world. They are fast, they have good performance, they are very safe, but the user base and ecosystem in the automotive industry is quite limited. So to overcome that question or overcome that challenges, we have decided to launch our EZ8 RTOS, which is one kernel and 3 corners and no compromise. So EZ8 RTOS is independently developed kernel designed from the ground up for the automotive grade requirements. And we want that kernel to at least to facilitate the overcome of those 3 questions or 3 problems. So first thing first, the safety. It is built on a hard real-time foundation and targeting ACOD certification. It will definitely get ACOD. And for the performance, well, performance-wise, it's the design, the architecture of that, I will show in the next slide. It's a modular kernel architecture that delivers near Linux throughput. And for the ecosystem, it has the native compatibility with Linux applications. So here is the architecture. So how could we achieve Linux compatibility while ensuring the performance and safety? Well, the traditional workaround is to put a Linux virtual machine or compatibility shim on the top of the real-time kernel. But what we have done is we put a VFS layer in the modularized kernels and directly into those kernels, right? And then for the Linux application, in terms of the ecosystem-wise, we see because of our techniques, the POSIX and procs, we gave the Linux application a similar environment. Right. So because of time limits, I'm gonna go through this page quite fast, much faster. So first thing first, in this year, I think it's by the end of this month actually, the first edition of our EZ8 RTOS will come out. It will be available for partner implementation and also for a relatively small group to use. But by the end of August this year, it will have officially launched. And in 2027, it will have a full Linux ecosystem compatibility, and it will also have these domestic chips adaptation and ACOB certification compliance. In 2028, it will start to support the cockpit and autonomous driving, at least from our expectations. And in 2029 and going to 2030, it will become more universal and to support the agent and even more discipline like the robot, like the eVTOL. Again, next one is the EZ8 hypervisor as mentioned. So probably you ask me, if your kernel can solve the problem of safety and AI isolation, why do we still need a hypervisor? Because at the moment, we believe the current industry is actually required. Something wrong with this? Require a hypervisor that can facilitate the hybrid deployment. And also moving forward in the future, we believe that both cockpit and intelligent driving fusion, and also in the future, the full vehicle domain, they all require a hypervisor to facilitate those isolation and management from the hardware level. And that's why we have those ACOD certified hypervisor that provide to this whole industry. And the roadmap itself is quite clear. So 2026, we will have the foundation for the virtualization capability. 2027, we will continuously cover both intelligent driving and intelligent cockpit scenarios. And 2028, this whole hypervisor will keep evolving, built upon cockpit driving integration, and also for the kernel space and virtual framework, achieve ACOD certification to elevate the safety level. 2029, the multi-axial the multi-architecture, for example, ARM, RISC-V, etc., and cockpit driving integration makes criticality and full stack safety. But in the end, I mean, when I say in the end, it's after 5 years, 2030, where this hypervisor will be targeting the central computing architecture. So to enable those, what I just said, the full vehicle fusion paradigm. Then let me move up, a little bit upper to our EasyXman basic software. The first one is the EasyXman CP. EasyXman. EasyXman is our brand name for our classic platform software stack, which is now open sourced. I think it has been open sourced since 2024, 24th of October, I believe. So it is a production-ready classic platform middleware for automotive body, powertrain, and chassis, etc. And it has more than 25 billion production and also covered more than 300 model of vehicles. And very recently, it has been implemented into 4 vehicle models for the overseas export. And what we have done for EasyXman is we decided to open source it. Why? Because we believe such infrastructure, such common infrastructure should be. And so far, we have reached quite astounding results because, you know, open source in this industry is quite relatively new, even though open source is a go-to paradigm for the IT. So far, we have reached 50 OEMs, 420 tier suppliers, and more than 2,600 professional users, and a cumulative visits of 136,000, more than that. And also we have some real players in our industry, like FAW has already contributed their somehow stacks and components to our communities. And over 158 chip has been ported with our EasyXman. So this is what we have done with the open source to the EasyXman. And in terms of the application coverage, EasyXman has been covered all 5 domains in the vehicle, from the intelligent driving, powertrain, body, chassis, and intelligent cockpit. Right? These are the illustration of our customers and the users. Moving on, we have been discovered that if we only have the code available, it doesn't drive itself from code to production. In this industry, this automotive industry is quite fascinating because you will need support. You will need some push to push the code from a dump to the production. How? You have 2 ways to do that, and both ways are important. The first one is you need the service provider. A single company may not be able to support the whole requirement from across the whole industry sector. So through the Starlight program that we launched last year, we have seen some real progress. There has been already 27 service provider that provide the service of engineering support, the configurations, the integrations around the EasyXman project. And also another way to facilitate such from the code to production is the pre-integration. It's a trend that we have been witnessing I think it's from 2 years ago. And what we have done is we have partnered with, for example, like Infineon together to develop this drive core. It's more than a demo, it's more like a reference, so that when the OEM select the chip and select the operating system, it's actually ready together. So it's ready for production. And because of the open source, EasyXman has drawn some real international attentions, and we have achieved some international collaborations. So this page just shows that from the chip, from the controller, from all these tool chains, we have some real players together to partner with iSOFT and to jointly elaborate into this EasyXman community and this project. And for our EasyXman, the roadmap is even more clear because this is our most mature product. And 2026, it will have the TSN and DDS integration, and it will have AI automated configuration development tools. And in 2027, it will have a virtualized simulation environment and end-to-end AI intelligent verifications. In 2028, the AI agent development environment will be launched. And in 2029, the cloud-native collaborative configuration platform will be launched as well. And in 2030, we have the Vibe Coding 2.0, which enable rapid transformation from intent description to multimodal configuration and code generation. Next, moving on to today's most focused topic, which is our Orientas AP, which is the one that in this morning, as I just mentioned, that we have already been the backbone of the CAPI. So what Orientas AP is the name of our AP product. It serves as a bridge between AI and the vehicle. And that product handles high bandwidth communication between sensors and compute. And it provides the SOA architecture that allows AI algorithm to call vehicle function without knowing which ECU hosts them. I believe we all know that's what AP stands for and what AP is developed to use in that scenario, right? But there's a challenge, I think, because in today's intelligent driving industry, somehow the technological roads or technology roads have not been yet converged. We have all been searching, we have all been trying to develop our own version of the implementation from the same standard. And because of that, there's no common running baseline for AP middleware. Everyone, as I mentioned, are building their own. So from our perspective, we really want one strong standard or one strong reference rather than 5 weaker variants. So that's why we decided to contribute. So CAPI, big one, and I salute you guys. Okay, thank you. So AUTOSAR CAPI, my understanding is the Common Adaptive Platform Implementation Project. It aims to break the traditional model of specification only, no implementation, and push the code first open collaboration model. And the goal is not another document. It's more like a standardized implementation. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? And because the overall goal is to provide a running, certifiable, and golden reference baseline that the entire industry can and could build upon. So on 10th of May, 2026, iSOFT has decided to contribute its own self-developed intelligent driving middleware to AUTOSAR and to become the baseline for the CAPI project code base. And I get this question a lot. People ask me, why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to contribute? And why do you want to be the first one to contribute? And I will always say 4 reasons. And the 3 are on the screen. And the 4th one I will say orally, right? The first one is because iSOFT has somehow already solved the problem because we have this project, we have this product, we know what works and what not. And we know from the OEM, our customer's perspective, through all these conversations, what's the problem and what should be conquered, should be tackled in the future in the scope of AP. And second, we understand the industrial pain. We know that industry wants something that is common. We know that nobody wants to spend money to build something that is so common that should be an infrastructure. But instead, people build walls, different walls, and have different gardens and separate the industry into different silos. And third, we believe in accountabilities. We would like to be the first to set the tone. We would like to set the tone of openness, of trustworthy, and we would like to set the tone that the AUTOSAR together with the whole industry could make AP even better and similar in a similar way of the CP. And the 4th one is it's a hidden one because we have faith in AUTOSAR. We believe AUTOSAR could lead us the way to this in this autonomous driving or this intelligent driving era. So we're here to work alongside AUTOSAR, laying a fast lane from standard to mass production for the entire automotive industry. And for our AP, obviously it's a standard AP middleware. It has the Linux BSP and functional safety and cybersecurity as well. But one of the major features that our AP have is the deterministic communication and scheduling. So for the deterministic communication, the DDS protocol stacks deeply integrated with TSN, binding communication events to TSN gate control for cross-domain real-time fulfillment. And also for the deterministic scheduling, the time trigger and event trigger task orchestration with the scheduling latency less than 100 microsecond across MCUs and SOCs, meeting the periodic and hard real-time task requirement. This is a real innovation that we have been making in the AP domain. In terms of our Orientas AP roadmap, in 2026, the foundation is there. And in 2027, we will have ACOD certified. And in 2028, we will have full domain communication capability. And 2029, AI native service platform will be launched. And 2030, it will be vehicle cloud collaborative AI. Because this is something that I will just elaborate a little bit. The autonomous driving, there's another paradigm called vehicle cloud road integration. And we believe that will be eventually a paradigm that somebody all will have to follow. But we, from a foundational software provider, we would like to try at least go ahead of that trend, so that when the time is coming, we have product ready. So all of those products together, it forms a platform. At this moment, before the end of June, we have the platform 1.0, which we have the hypervisor, the middleware, and CP. But the target is the platform 2.0 by the end of this month, so that we have everything apart from the functional software. And then in the future, together with our close partners and the academic world, we will have a full stack, starting from the hypervisor at the bottom, all the way to the functional software that supports the algorithm, the AI. And each layer decoupled, as I mentioned, it can be provided in a full stack, whole stack, but also you can get it separately, individually, so that you don't have vendor lock-in from us. And this is the real philosophy behind our mindset. We believe this openness, whether it's openness of ecosystem or openness of the source code, will enable the whole industry going forward in a better and smoother way. Right, so let me step back a little bit and show you guys the full pictures. So overall, we have this whole, it's not like a catalog. It's more like a continuous stack. In between silicon and algorithm, we have everything, basically, from safety to AI and from standard to shipment. Moving on, as I mentioned in my title, is for the era of intelligent driving and beyond. So the question is, what's beyond? I believe the beyond is the next generation intelligent terminals. Automotive industry has been, and maybe always been, the cutting edge pioneer for the new technology. That those types of technologies will have the universality to other domains. For example, if we have a very successful, very mature, safe AI enabling like OS, it will be very easy to move it to the like say eVTOL, to these smart robot, to this industrial robot. And this is the thing that we see ourselves in the future. We see iSOFT not only automotive foundational software vendor, we see ourselves as the next generation intelligent terminal operating system provider. So this is our vision, and we would like to share this vision with you guys, and to see whether our software, together with this, all the audience and all these partners, and with this paradigm of openness, can achieve something greater, not only in the automotive industry, but also in the wider scenarios. So beyond products, our methodology for the AIDV or SDV. People talk about SDV a lot, and nowadays there's AIDV comes out. So we're not going to talk a lot about these terminologies, but we'll talk about methodologies. How could we really facilitate this industry. I believe 3 principles. The first one is decouple before you optimize, right? Because those layered decoupling means that safety base is certified once, while the AI layer evolves continuously. No more recertifying the entire software stack every time a model changes, right? This is efficient, this is effective, so decouple before optimize. And second, we believe open before close. So open source, or this openness of source code at the base, and open standard in the middle, and open ecosystem on the top is the ideal situation. It's the ideal way of moving the software industry going forward. So when the foundation is shared, the industry competes on the differentiations, whether it's the software on the top, the algorithm, the AI, or the whole vehicle design, or the features. We don't need to compete on the fundamental level, right? Fundamental should be the infrastructure, should be shared, should be universal, and should be something that AUTOSAR stands for 20 years. And third is neutral before bind. We will always, iSOFT will always serve as a third-party neutral vendor so that we provide the platform and the service without competing with our customer, without competing in cars, chips, or algorithm. That's the only way. We believe that's the only way to build trust. Say we are building chips, we are building software, we are building algorithm, and then we sell you this operating system, the basic software. It will be relatively harder for us to gain your trust. Again, to wrap up, I have been illustrated 2 impossible triangle today. The first one is the industrial trilemma, where the capital intensity, supply chain sovereignty, and performance readiness forms that impossible triangle, right? So our way is not to force those 3 corners together, but to provide an enabling hexagon, where it should be neutral, open source, open standard, with the safe, professional, and worry-free way to achieve those. And for the kernel impossible triangle, we say that safety, performance, and ecosystem are the things that we're all looking for. But at the moment, there's a lacking. And we provide a new RTOS called EZ RTOS together with our hypervisor, CP, and AP to form a full stack. But then our full stack is now closed, it's open, and it's decoupled. So together with our position as a neutral vendor, we call that a neutral, open, and full stack OS platform. So not only are we going to develop this more and more, we're also inviting all of these partners together. We can contribute because it's like an openness, a new paradigm of doing this business in this world. And we would like to see how could we all together join this path, and together this platform could facilitate and serve us all. So in the end, we have a saying at iSOFT. The translation, it may have different variants, but the key point is you can go really fast alone. But if you want to go far, we probably need to go far together, right? So by sharing the code, by sharing the standard, we actually sharing the future. And this is what we call the IQ Cube. And this is my keynote speech. And we're looking forward to, together with all you guys, and to create the new future of our industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I really liked your analogy with the garden and silos and then the openness. I mean, this is also playing in our hand. You just stay. I think we have a few more minutes for questions. Okay. Actually, I want to start with one question because I like your analogy with Easy X-Men and in the open source community, because we're trying to, right now, you know, we cannot be open source because it's a shared source solution or a community sourced solution in AUTOSAR. But we want to have a similar ecosystem across the boundaries and not to have these gardens. these private gardens. So how you envision the evolution of copy now that it is available, and how much you see that there is contribution if you compare it already, like with Easy X-Men. So how much upstreaming and basically people are contributing to this code base already.
Right. I think this is a very good question. It actually compensates with what I have missing in my speech. So we believe the means doesn't matter. The purpose is actually matter. So whether it's open source or openness of source code or community source, the purpose is to share the infrastructure, is to gather the fragmented, intelligent talent in this whole industry and merge those talents to build the infrastructure that is better than being built individually. So that collective endeavor is the purpose. Whether it's open source or community source, it just means. Right?
I didn't mean the construct behind. Maybe I didn't make myself clear. Sorry, I meant more how much progress you see already, like from your experience in these kind of projects. I mean, is there? It's a really an active community. I saw you had some numbers like people downloading, but there was also a number on how many people are working with it or integrating it, and so.
Right. Okay, so we have been fascinated. Truthfully, we have been fascinated of how our open source Easy X-Men has been progressed over only less than 2 years. So when we first launched this project, we are hopeful, but we are not quite sure how it will progress. But over these 2 years, a lot of attention has been drawn. A lot of entities, a lot of people have been joined, and also it also enables us as a company, because as a Chinese foundational software providers, it will be quite relatively hard to get the attention from these globally big players. But now with this open source paradigm, open source projects, we actually partner with a lot of those players, those partners that we have not been able to do that before this open source. So this is a real thing that has been really elevated us as a company and also as a player in this industry. So I would say open source the Easy X-Men is a good one.
Okay.
I'll say that, yeah.
You also mentioned that BMW contributed. I see them here in the room. So Manfred, make sure that your team is adding also to the copy, and also all the other people here in the room. I mean, I see Mercedes in the room. I see Amovio. I see like Desai and other companies like iSOFT and so on. So yeah, I think it will be joint. I liked also your phrase, far, we go far. Yeah. Okay, so a question from the audience. Anyone has a question? You can also ask in Chinese because we're in the room with translation. So, okay, so obviously your presentation was very clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And